I want to welcome AgileXRM to the podcast. I've known the people at AgileXRM for the past 12 years. I've seen how their business process management tool can add massive value to complex organizational processes in sectors such as finance and government. If you have complex processes or a need for dialogues on the Power Platform or Dynamics 365, take a look at how this BPM tool can add value. You can find them at agilexrm.com or check out the show notes for more details. Welcome to the MVP Show. My intention is that you listen to the stories of these MVP guests and are inspired to become an MVP and bring value to the world through your skills. If you have not checked it out already, I do a YouTube series called How to Become an MVP. The link is in the show notes. With that, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is all the way from Malta. He's a senior analyst. He's a second-time MVP, so coming into his third year now. He's a tech enthusiast, software developer, Microsoft Dynamics CRM technical analyst. He's a diehard Microsoft fan. You can check him out on his blog, nijos.dev, and I'll put links into the show notes for that. Welcome to the show, Nijo Joseph.
Thank you, Mark. So I'm very happy to be part of this show today.
Excellent. Good to have you on here. Good to have a chat. And tell us about Malta. That's an interesting part of the world. I've visited Malta. I love it. But tell us about family, food, and fun for you in Malta.
Yeah, basically I'm from India, but I moved to Malta as part of my work, and I'm working with KPMG Malta now. So my family is back in India. They are in Kerala, like the southernmost state of India. And I'm in Malta. Malta is like a very small country, small island in the middle of the ocean. So it's, it's kind of a tourist spot in Europe. People come to here. We have plenty of sunlight here. So, it's about the summer to start. So people come here to enjoy the cool weather or warm weather and enjoy the beach. We have beach around the island. So it's a tourist spot. You can come for a vacation and enjoy and party here.
Yeah, so true, so true. I've definitely enjoyed my time in Malta. And when I've holidayed there. Tell us about, what about food? Is the food good in Malta from your perspective?
Basically I like Mediterranean food, and it's plenty of, it's a hot spot for Mediterranean food in Malta. You can get Mediterranean and Italian food. It's a blend of both you can get over here. And if you come to here, there are local cuisines, but I think more people are preferring like kebabs or pizza. These are the main items people preferring out here.
Yeah, sounds right. Sounds right. So tell us about how you got into tech. What was your kind of career journey that ended you up where you are today?
As a student, basically, chemistry was my favorite subject. But I started, still I choose computer science as my major for my higher studies. I don't know, maybe because, I had some dysgraph, kind of a writing disability issue. So I knew it is difficult to go with the core chemistry or physics, that kind of a subject. So I chose to go with computer so that I can type in things rather than writing these letters and drawing diagrams and everything. That's why the core reason I chose IT as my major. But from there, this is something I realized. This is something which where I can grow further. That's how I started. Then on the career side, basically I started with Dynamics CRM itself. In 2015, I started with Dynamics CRM. Not like normally people go with the technical development side and then come into CRM. But for me, fortunately, I got an opportunity directly into Dynamics CRM. That too, especially with the company, they are focusing in the product development to an ISV. So, which gave me immense exposure on the both side, learning an industry like the vertical industry plus a technical side. So that's how, I got into Dynamics CRM side.
And what took you though overseas? And I'm probably asking more generally here. Are you seeing this? A lot of organizations have some big teams inside India that makes up part of their development team. I mean, the company I work for, we have about I don't know, 700-800 people just working in Dynamics in India, let alone what we have in China and other countries. But why is there an appetite to move to another country and work on Dynamics projects remotely that you're seeing?
Uh, Sorry, Mark, I didn't get the question. Can you rephrase it? Like,
Yeah, so are you seeing that a lot of people, their goal in their career is rather than work on Dynamics in country, they in their own country, their home country, they want to go and work on it in other countries, like you're in Malta, for example.
uh, yeah, I think people move for kind of an exposure and bigger projects or that kind of stuff. For me personally, I was with a smaller firm. We were focusing on product development, especially you might know when we do an ISP kind of a thing. It's a smaller team. Like we started with I think around 10 people, then grow into 50. That's the maximum resource required for a product development. Not like 700 or 1,000 people are not required. But for me, I worked with the product development phase, and then I thought, let's expose. Let's see how bigger implementations are going rather than developing a project, especially with the government firms and public sector implemented how it is going. So that's the reason I choose a different country and a different firm. Uh, but I think people move to other country for the direct exposure, and mostly in India, it's kind of an offshore place where people remotely work, but working face with the client is a different experience.
So do you travel much within your role, or are you pretty much stationary in Malta?
Malta pretty much tested at the moment, especially it's COVID and we are into a new style of working now. It's not necessary you need to move. So I do work for different clients in different regions, but
And so are you working generally on remote projects, though?
yes, remote projects mostly.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, tell me about how did you become an MVP? What was your journey? How did you how did it start from you? And tell me, how you got to ultimately becoming an MVP.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I started my career out of college. Fresh, I started directly with Dynamics CRM in 2015. I think that those where I'm working with Dynamics CRM version 2011, 2013, 2015. We had different projects. And for me, those days, you might know, community was not this active. I think Tutai community has evolved into a different level. There are many contributors, many people were there, but those days, as I mentioned before, that is a smaller firm. We are doing a product development, and only a few people, like 10 members were there in the team. Like the total headcount was 10. So there were not much people to check or discuss on different points. So whenever I get into when I stuck into something, I go to the community, Dynamics community, and post the questions over there. That's how my community activity started. Then there were only a few people. You might know Scott was there, then Ben Housley was there, Kitty, and only few people were there. So if I have some doubt, what I used to do is that I post in the community, then I go to the LinkedIn or the community and message, hey, I posted this question, can you help me with the answer? Then they'll come and reply back in the community. So that then maybe after a couple of months itself, when I'm stuck on something, which their answers, the way they are answering the questions really amaze me. Then I check how they're aware of this, what is happening in the back end, what is the level of their knowledge. Then I just noticed that title is like MVP. Then I dig much into what is this title, what does it mean? So what are the benefits, especially as an MVP, you will get the product group interactions and you will get to know the product more. So then I realized this is how MVPs work, and I get to know from the internet itself how this is what they're doing. Then MVP was not my first impression, or I was not working primarily for an MVP title, but I got in touch with all these people over the community. This thing. Then I also started answering questions in the community, and to be very honest, it took almost an year for me to get a one verified answer, the first verified answer, but it took 1 year. But that was something motivating me, even the single that thing get kind of a motivation for me. That is enough for me, one verified answer those days. Then I continued that thing and started my own blog. That too, again, I started for my own learning. We find out something, I don't want to, ditch it over there. So, I posted those things on my blog. Then I moved that way a couple of maybe 1 or 2 year, the same pattern. Then fortunately again I got in touch with other community members, especially William, then Chris Huntingford, so then Lanny, so all these people, we were part of another amazing community called Those Dynamics Guys, and we started organizing events, hackathons. Probably you might remember in 2020 we had Hack for Good for Embass event. So all these events I was also a coordinator. I think I was part of 2 or 3 hackathon events. Then I started creating small source components, start posting in GitHub and PCF Gallery. I had I think almost 5 or 6 controls in the PCF Gallery, and one of them got almost 10,000 or I think exactly and 15,000 downloads within a couple of months. That was amazing. I'm getting inquiries. It is still outdated, but I got a lot of positive responses on this thing. Even people from different regions started then contacting me, asking me also doubts. Then I spent a lot of time on this thing. But I was, to be honest, I was not ready for an MVP title. But I got very busy with this community activities, LinkedIn. Every day I was flooded with messages in my LinkedIn post. People are asking clarification, doubts, and this thing. Then then that those days, I think 2020, 2019, early, mid of 2019, I was nominated by Lani. She said, you are doing great work and doing a lot of contributions, so I'm going to nominate you. So I was kind of very shocked, and I was not expecting that thing. Though, I know this will lead to this MVP title, but I was kind of very happy. Then, I filled up the form by December. Then I got selected as an MVP in 2020, early 2020, I'd say.
Nice. That's so good. Such a good story. And I love your persistence that even though it took you a year to get your first verified answer, you still kept going. And that's fantastic.
Yes, something.
Really, really like that. Tell me, since becoming an MVP, has anything changed for you? Has it had any impact on your career? What's it been like for you since becoming an MVP?
Career wise, yeah, on a knowledge base, or you will evolve into a different person after once you become an MVP. Expect on the professional side, I will say you will be more responsible. People are expecting more responsible answers and responsible posts from your blogs or the talks you do. So you need to be more responsible. You need to do thorough research. Then your knowledge level, the product group interaction is a different thing. That's the main thing: product group interaction and the community involvement. That's the 2 things I'm seeing as an advantage. You will get to know what is happening. You will have your voice to say this is not right, or this is we are expecting from the product. That is the first thing. Then MVP community is so amazing. We'll have these WhatsApp groups or in Slack groups and Teams channel. So if you are in doubt of something, you know the right person whom to reach out now. So if if I need to know something about the portals, I know whom to reach out. Reach out to the community, or Power Apps, Canvas app, or custom component development. I know the top layer people whom to reach out if I am in doubt of something. Just that's something you will we kind of you have a full directory in your hand about Dynamics at the moment, or business application. That's what I see the most important privilege of being an MVP.
If you look at the year ahead, 2022, and then on into 2023, what are the big focus areas for you? What area of the technology are you kind of studying at the moment? What's your focus area?
Since I started with Dynamics CRM, XRM is in my heart. So still with the model-driven apps and enhancement coming out there. But on a personal note, I'm focusing more on kind of accessibility considerations. That's something very important, especially accessibility issues which often go unnoticed in business application. For example, if you have some disabilities which is not physically visible, So people may not consider such aspects. Or another case, right now citizen development or low-code applications are emerging or booming. What happens is that I'm a single person. I'll create a model or Canvas app or Power App from my point of view and my accessibility. Later, maybe after using it for 3 or 4 months, I'll realize it is useful for my team. But my team is a diverse team. People with different skills or different disabilities will be there. But the app was originally not designed for this kind of, or without considering a wide group of people. So that's a gap I'm seeing in the citizen development now. So I'm kind of, doing more awareness programs or events, talks on that area, which is something very important, I see.
Yeah. Have you got any blog posts on those type of topics?
I have started 2 posts, especially why accessibility matters. I have one post on that side. I'm preparing something, some blogs on the proofreading at the moment. For me, it takes more time to prepare a blog. I have something called this graph, which it will take double the time for you to type something or write something, because you will mix up letters. Even if you type or write, or mix up words, your thinking and your typing won't match. The speed won't match. Sometimes you'll skip words or jumble words in between, or the common spelling, you will always make mistakes. So it takes more time for me to do stuff. So maybe to write a blog, for me it may take 1 or 2 days for a single blog. That's how even I took a different approach in blogs now. I'm writing it as comic strip now, so that I have to write only a few words instead of a whole paragraph. So it's that maybe I'm being a bit tricky on that side, but I think
no, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. I think that working to your skill and just identifying this, looking at your blog post at the moment, it's fantastic. It's totally unique. It's totally you, and I love the way that's coming through. I think it's good work. Good work.
Thank you, Bud.
Really well done.
Because I used to struggle a lot.
Okay.
With writing blogs,
You also.
No, I used to struggle a lot with time. With the time I used to take a single blog post. So that's why I chose this kind of an approach.
I like it. Really well done. Is there any recommendations you'd make to people wanting to become MVPs themselves?
Community contribution is the key. That's what I say from my personal experience. There are two, as I mentioned, the primary advantage is that, you will get to know more people. You will be, your knowledge, the more you know people, your knowledge or your skill set will automatically increase. So you get in start with community. That's what I always advise. And I get a lot of messages from people. How can I become an MVP? How can I start? Just simply start with any user group or even with Dynamics or Power Platform community. That's the first place I would say.
Nijo, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. I'm so happy, and it's a privilege to be with you.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and want to be a supporter, check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again, and see you next time.